Hi everyone, you're welcome to Val Fashion's YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be sharing with you how to make this lovely skirt we have on the mannequin. This is an 8 panel skirt. As you can see, this is one, two, three, four. We have one, two, three, 4 panels, and we also have 4 panels at the back. Can you see how it just opens up at the hem? In this video, I'll be showing you in details how to draft and cut this skirt. I hope this is something you're interested in learning. Please make sure to keep on watching till the end. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly click on the subscribe button to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much, and let's get right into the video. This is the Ankara fabric I'll be using for this project. Firstly, to make an 8 panel skirt, you need to determine how wide the down part of your skirt is going to be, which is the sweep. The sweep is the down part, and that determines the amount of fabric you are going to be making use of. So now, to determine that amount of fabric, you need to multiply the hip measurement. In this case, I'm multiplying the hip measurement by 2.5. I'm working with hip 44. 44 times 2.5, that will give me 110 inches. Please take note that this multiplying by 2.5 is not a standard. You can multiply by 2, you can multiply by 3. This totally depends on how wide you want it to be and the amount of fabric you are working with. So having gotten 110 inches, I went ahead to divide 110 inches by 36. So I divided it by 36 and it gave me 3.05, meaning that I'm going to use 3 yards of fabric. A yard is 36 inches, so that was why I divided by 36 so that we know the amount of fabric I'll be using. So in this case, it gave me 3 yards, 0.05, so meaning I'm going to use 3 yards of fabric to make the skirt. Next, I went ahead to divide this 110 inches that I got by 8 panels. We're making 8 panel skirts. So each of the panels is supposed to be, they are all supposed to be equal. So we don't want to know what each of the panel will be. So the 110 inches I got, I divided it by 8 panels, and that gave me 13.75, which is 13 and 3/4. I'll go ahead and add 1 inch to that 13 and 3/4, and that will give me 14 and 3/4. So each of the panels is going to be 14 and 3/4. That's including my stitching allowance on both sides. So right now I have my fabric folded on the table, and this is 14 and 3/4, which is 14.75. So having folded my fabric, first I went ahead to mark my starting line, which is the waistline. So from the waistline, I'm going ahead to mark the hip line. Next, I'll go ahead and mark the knee point. Now, to mark the knee point, you don't want to mark exactly on the knee. I'm marking 3 inches above the knee because the opening of the skirt will start above the knee. So don't mark exactly on the knee point. Mark 3 inches or 2 inches above the knee. This is so that the skirt can open up and it will be easy for you to be able to move. So now I mark 3 inches above the knee. Next, I'll go ahead and mark the full length of the skirt, and then I'll add 1 inch for my hemming allowance. So when you're making a panel skirt, you don't need up to 2 inches for hemming allowance because the down part is curved, so you don't want to add too much hemming allowance. So having marked out all our lines, now the next thing I'm going to do, from the folded part of my fabric, that's from the folded part here, I'm going to come in. I'll come in by 4 inches. So I'm marking 4 inches. Here I decided to use the nipple to nipple measurement of this client, which is half of it is 4 inches. Okay, so I marked 4 inches. So I marked this 4 inches on the waistline, I marked it on the hip line, and then the knee line. So I just marked it on these 3 points. Please take note. So having marked it this way, then the next thing I'm going to do is to use my straight ruler to connect from this knee point to the hemline like this. Can you see? So can you see how it just opens up? So I only came in on the waistline, on the hip line, and on the knee line. So now the next thing I'm going to do, this part we are marking is our center front, the two center front pieces first. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to enter the nipple to nipple measurement plus half inch. Like I already said, the nipple to nipple is 8, half of it is 4. So plus half inch, that's 4.5. So I'm going to mark 4.5 here. So I'm marking 4.5 on the waistline. I'll do the same thing on the hip line, and I will repeat the same thing on the knee line as well. So having done that, I'll use my straight ruler to connect the 3 points. And this is it. So next I will go ahead and connect it now. I'll open it up to finish up at that 14.75. So you can see now that the down part is as wide as that 14.75 we already calculated. Can you see what we have? So we have our two center pieces, the two center pieces. Okay, so this is it. So next I'll bring in my scissors. I will cut out these two pieces, and then we'll go ahead and draft the back and the side pieces. I beg your pardon. We'll draft the side pieces. So now you can see that we have our two center front pieces. So I'm just going to notch this middle, this side, to show that this is the center. This is the part we'll be joining together here. Can you see? These are two center front pieces. Okay, so here I have my fabric on fold, and we're going to be using this to draft the side piece, the side front. The width of the fabric I have here on fold is the same 14.75. This is about 15 inches, and that's fine. So this is 15 inches here, okay? So now this is the folded part of my fabric. This is the waistline, the hip line, the knee line, the full length of the skirt, and the hemming allowance. Now to get the side front, there's something we need to do. This is our center piece. Remember, I notched the middle, that's the center, okay? So this is the side that we're going to be joining to the side of our skirt. So this is what we're going to do. Remember that when we were cutting it out, this was the center and this is the side. So now we want to replicate this same shape, this same side that we have here on the side piece of our skirt. So now this is what I'm going to do. Can you see how it is here? Just flip it over like this and place it. Did you see that? Take it this way. This is how it was. This is the center, this is the side. Because you want to replicate exactly the same shape you have here on this side of the skirt. So turn it this way and place it over the center side piece like this. Can you see? So, and then we'll go ahead and cut out exactly this shape. So that means that exactly what I have here on the side of the front center piece, I will have the same thing on the side piece. Now this is what you want to make sure to confirm. Now this is our center piece. Before you go ahead and cut, make sure you confirm this. This is our center piece. The hip measurement, I'm marking, this is the hip line here. The hip measurement is 44 inches. 44 divided by 4 is 11. So this is our center front. Remember that the center front, we already have 4 inches. Can you see? We already have 4 inches. What we have here is 5 because we'll be using half inch to join the side, half inch to join the other side. So that means we have exactly 4 inches. You want to put into consideration that 4 inches. So now, if we have 4 inches at the center and the hip measurement divided by 4 is 11. So it means we already have 4 inches out of this 11. So we are now looking for 7 inches remaining. So I'm going to place my tape here. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm placing my tape on -4 because this is where the side measurement is starting from. So I'll place my tape on -4 and mark the hip measurement divided by 4. So I'll place my tape here on -4 and mark the hip measurement divided by 4, which is 11. Can you see? I've marked my 11 here. So then I'll go ahead and enter my sewing allowance of 2 inches. After adding my sewing allowance of 2 inches, remember I'm going to be joining the side and the center together, so I need extra half inch. So here I mark 2.5 in total. Can you see? So with this method, I'm not going to have any shortage. So you want to make sure to put all these little things into consideration when doing it.
So before you go ahead and cut, make sure that you have confirmed that your hip measurement will come out from here. Can you see that here I have 9.5? So for this front, I already have 4 inches. So by the time we make all of them up, I'm going to have my hip measurement including the sewing allowance, okay? So now, having confirmed this, I'll go ahead and just cut out what I have here. So I'm going ahead to replicate this shape. Can you see? So now we have this and it is out. So we now have our skirt. Can you see how they will join together like this? Can you see that? So now let's continue. So we already have the hip measurement here. So for the skirt, the waist measurement. The waist measurement of the person I'm making this outfit for is 34. 34 divided by 4, that's 8.5. I already have 4 inches at the middle here. Can you see? I have 4 inches at the middle here. So I am going to, that means I'm looking for 4.5, that's to complete my 8.5. So I just go ahead and place my tape here on -4 and mark 8.5. Then I'll go ahead and add my sewing allowance of the same 2.5 inches, just like I did for the hip line, because we need half inch for joining them together. Okay, so after doing that, then I will come down to the knee line. For the knee line, exactly what I have here, I have 9.5 here. Exactly what I have here, I will subtract 1.5 from it and enter it on the knee line. So I have 9.5. So 9.5 minus 1.5, that will leave me with 8 inches. So I will mark 8 inches here. Can you see? So having marked it, then I will go ahead and connect the points. So I'm connecting from the knee line to the hip line and then to the waistline. Did you see that? So from this measurement I have here, I will open up to the end of my 14.75 inches. Can you see? So now this is what my side piece looks like. So I'll go ahead and cut it out.
Okay, so here we are. As you can see, we now have our front pieces. So let me go ahead and open them up so that we can see. So these are the two middle pieces, and then this is the side. We'll place the sides. So I'm just going ahead to place all the 4 panels of the front so that we can see them. Can you see? Can you see how the down part opens up? So like I already said, that multiplying the hip measurement by 2.5 is not a standard. You can multiply it as much as multiplying the hip measurement by 5, 6, 7, whatever it is you want to do. But please take note of the fabric you have, okay? So your sweep can be very wide. The wider or the more multiplication, the fuller it will be. Okay, so now it's time for us to treat the back. So I have my fabric on fold and I placed the center front over the back piece. That's the fabric for the back. Though this side is our center back and the other side is the side we'll be joining to the side back. So I'm extending my lines, the markings over the part that is the center back. Okay, so here's our center back. Okay, please take note of that. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my zipper allowance. So here on the waistline, I'm marking my zipper allowance of 1 inch. I'm marking 1 inch on the waistline. Then on the hip line, I'm going to mark 1.5. On this waistline, I marked 1 inch because we don't want to have our zipper bulging at the back. So I marked 1 inch. So by the time I turn my lining with ½ inch, I'll be left with ½ inch. I will fix my zipper on 1 inch. So fixing on 1 inch, it means that it will eat into the actual measurement. So that way the zipper will not bulge. So that's why I marked 1 inch on the waistline. Then on the hip line, I marked 1.5 inches. On the knee line, I'm marking ½ inch. And you see? So I marked 1 inch on the waistline, 1.5 on the hip line, and then knee line, I marked ½ inch. So now go ahead and connect from the knee line to the hip line. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect the 3 points. So you want to make sure that you do this correctly so that you don't have the skirt gaping at the back, and you also have that nice bum illusion at the back so that the butt comes out well at the center back. Okay, so you will notice that my line is not straight at the back. I have 1 inch on the waistline. On the hip line I have 1.5, and then on the knee line I have just half inch. So you can see I've connected the point and I opened it up to the sweep of the skirt. Okay, so this is basically it. So for the center back, this is just the alteration we're doing on the center back. That's exactly at the center back. On the other side of the center back, you don't need to do anything. Just go ahead and cut exactly what is there. So we're replicating exactly the same thing. Okay, so this is basically it. So you can see I've cut out the center back. I'll go ahead and also cut this side out as well. So this is it. So after cutting it out, the next thing I'm going to do is to place my side front piece on the Ankara fabric and cut out exactly the same thing. So for the side back, there's no difference between the side back and the side front. So since we already have the side front, all I need to do is to just place it and then cut it out, because it is exactly the same thing. All the measurements have been calculated already. So the only one that has the difference is the center back. And as you can see, I've notched the zipper allowance area. So can you see how our center back looks? Can you see the shape? It curved around the hip area, showing that there is a hip around, there's a butt around there. Okay, so now that we're done, the next thing I'm going to do is to give the hem of our skirt a nice curve. You don't want to leave them pointy, because you can see they are pointy. So I went up by 1 inch on both sides, on both edges. Can you see the down part? So this is just to give it that nice curve, and I'm cutting it out. Okay, so you can see. So this is it. Can you see how curved the down part is? So that was why I said that when you are drafting a panel skirt, you don't necessarily need too much hemming allowance. Even half-inch for your hemming allowance is fine. In my case, I added 1 inch. So I carved out all the other pieces, all the other 8 panels. They all have the same curve at the hem. All you need to do is to just go up by 1 inch on both edges and then just curve it towards the center so that it gives you a nice curve at the down part of the skirt. So we now have our 8 panels. So I'll go ahead and place this on my lining. I'll be doing full lining. I'll be lining the skirt fully. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut my linings, and then I'll stitch the skirt pieces together and then show us the final outcome.
So we have a band. I've already fixed my hook and eye, and here I fixed elastic to the band. Let me show us the inside. So, and this is what it looks like on the reverse side. I did full lining, and you see everything came out so beautiful. So the method of stitching this 8 pieces skirt is the same method I always use in stitching my 6 pieces skirt or 6 panel skirt, and I have done a detailed video on how to sew it, and it is on this channel. So if you haven't seen the video on how to stitch a 6 panel skirt, I'll drop the link in the description box. This is an urgent work, so that's why I showed us only the cutting part. So if you want to learn how to sew it, that's if you don't know how to sew it yet, I will drop the link to the video of the 6 panel skirt in the description box so that you can watch and learn how to stitch your skirt beautifully. And you see how neat everything is. So I'll wear this on the mannequin so that we can see it. Okay, so this is what our 8 panel skirt looks like on the mannequin. As you can see how beautiful it turned out. This is our waistline. It came out so beautiful. I'm pairing this 8 panel skirt with this beautiful peplum blouse. This peplum blouse is an armhole princess bustier, and I have done several videos on how to draft and cut an armhole princess bustier up to the sewing video. You can see the half length of this blouse is lower than the normal half length. The only different thing I did here is to make the half length 2 inches lower than the actual half length of the person. So if your half length is 16 inches, you can make it 18 inches, or you can make it 19 inches. And here, the peplum I have here, it's a pleated peplum. I've also done a detailed video on how to cut and sew a pleated peplum. So this is not new on this channel. So if you have been watching my videos, you should know how to draft and cut an armhole princess bustier and also a pleated peplum. So for the sleeve is really stylish. I cut a basic sleeve, and all I did was to divide the basic sleeve into 6 parts, and then I flared it out like the normal way we create our 6 pieces, okay? And then I went ahead to pleat this organza in between. So I wasn't able to record this video because this is an urgent work, but with this little explanation, I know that if you have been following my videos, you should be able to draft and cut this. You should be able to sew it perfectly. Here, what I have here are just patches from the Ankara fabric that I just placed here on the neckline, and you can see it is neatly sewn. So this is creating that decorative effect. So we have come to the end of this video. I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, please make sure to like this video, share this video with your friends, and do not hesitate to hit on the subscribe button to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet, and turn on your notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.